Every artifact of cultural production emerges out of something else, just as mankind didn't spontaneously emerge out of nowhere, nor did art. Just as in the evolution of our species, art also had to emerge out of the process of reproduction. I will argue, using the work of Marcus Boon, that art forms emerge out of the practices of copying, remixing, and recontextualization. These practices have been essential to folk art, of which internet memes are a fitting contemporary example of. To copy is to be original. I myself often disregarded internet memes as simple tools for simple people seeking cheap laughs. Take a look at this one, for example. Upon closer examination of this subculture, I find that internet memes are a contemporary folk art. Boon argues that historically, folk art emerged out of the fact that they, the masses, own little or nothing, found unofficial ways of making, distributing, and sharing things. They developed particular collective techniques for producing these things, appropriating, cutting and pasting, transforming whatever came to hand. Working with this definition, let us examine whether internet memes share the characteristics of folk art. Consider this then. Here are two different memes using the Willy Wonka image macro. Straight away, we can tick off our first collective technique, appropriation. On first glance, they look almost identical to one another. Even looking at the text, the two memes follow the same format. Question at the top and statement at the bottom. We see templatable text cut and pasted in these memes, so we can check off the cutting and pasting from our list. Despite these stark similarities between the two memes, I see the two as quite unique. The first meme, going to the gym tonight, better let everyone on Facebook know, serves as a social commentary on certain social media practices, stemming probably from a lived experience by the meme maker. The text in itself does not fully convey the meaning of the meme. It is Willy Wonka's ambivalent face that suggests this statement is being satirical. The next example states, "Immigrants stealing our jobs? Tell me more about how you've always wanted to be a taxi driver." Here, the meme functions as political commentary on the current refugee crisis. The core meaning of the image macro has been transformed to suit the intended message. It is Willy Wonka's apathetic face that conveys a message of ambivalent criticism. Therefore, we can also tick off transformation off our list of folk art techniques. Thus, it is clear to see that internet memes are contemporary folk art. On surface level, these memes can be seen to be copies. However, this would be a gross misjudgment of their value. As they are folk practices, their poignancy relies on their use of replication and tradition. This is where originality stems from. The uniqueness stems from the way the producer interacts with the practice. Marcus Boon addresses this in relation to folk musician Bert Jansch. Jansch, whilst performing well-known folk songs, individualizes the performance by relating stories about his experiences with particular songs, telling a story about who taught it to him, or the exact moment he first heard it. Jansch also ends songs in ways that are unique to him and his audience. The meme maker does much the same when they add their own text to an image macro. Look at this example. There are stark similarities in the practices of folk music and meme making. Both rely on reproduction within a tradition, but create uniqueness through creator experience, place, and audience. Most internet memes either involve templatable text pasted over a stock image, such as "the most interesting man in the world," "bad luck Brian," or "scumbag Steve." These images are appropriated into various contexts, such as humor, social commentary, and political activism. Internet memes are also images cut and pasted onto other images or text, known as exploitables. Popular exploitable images include Strutting Leo, Disaster Girl, and Chubby Bubbles Girl. The meme maker is only required to add a few words of text into a stock phrase or combine a few images together. We can observe that internet memes use all the aforementioned processes of folk art. That is, appropriating, cutting and pasting, and transforming. However, very few people would consider meme makers as artists, let alone their memes as art. Boon argues that we have this perception about memes, and other folk art because we essentially consider them to be copies. To us, copies are bad because they are not the original. We want to see the original Mona Lisa in the Louvre, not a mug with Mona Lisa's mug on it. In our society, originality and scarcity give a cultural artifact value. Boon states, we no longer associate copying with abundance, but link it rather with the theft or deterioration of the original. Over time, with the emergence of capitalism as the dominant ideology in the world, the meaning of the word has shifted dramatically. Copying, in the age of mass production, is replication. Replication that tarnishes the original. Copy, autocopy, is thus an idea laden with political overtones. It is embroiled within our legal framework and involves issues of ownership and theft. As Boon states, while the Industrial Revolution brought with it new forms of abundance, these were carefully locked within the new logic of the marketplace. There are also issues of class struggle embedded within copy. Uniqueness and originality are ways in which individuals create distinction within the social realm. Sociologist Pierre Bourdieu argues that social subjects, classified by their classifications, distinguish themselves by distinctions they make between the beautiful and the ugly, the distinguished and the vulgar, in which their position in the objective classification is expressed or betrayed. If we unpack this, we understand that the ruling classes throughout history have sought to distinguish themselves from the masses in ways such as having an appreciation and understanding of fine art. Folk art represents a proletarianization of art and therefore a challenge to the social distinction made by the ruling class. Therefore, they have attempted to degrade folk art through terminology like kitsch, unoriginal, and copies. The internet and memes alike challenge notions of scarcity as they offer us abundance. Boon argues, what appears to be on offer on the internet, what fuels its imaginal space, is the utopia of an infinite amount of stuff, material or not, all to be had for the sharing, downloading, and enjoying, for free. The internet offers us infinitely replicable images, tools for editing and generating memes, and channels to share them to a wide audience. Copy in meme making is essential to the art. It is thus important that ideas about copy should be seen in the context of the cultural phenomenon, rather than a blanket perception of being unoriginal and fraudulent.